I think we have now reached peak woke culture because woke is poison, toxic to culture because it's a small-minded, mean-spirited, corrupt, bigoted, ideology that just ruins art, sucks the heart out of art, and just turns everything into propaganda and to hectoring and to nastiness. And the thing that gave this away to me really was Dave Chappelle. I talked about this a little bit at the historic Ryman Theater. We had to leave because they were getting ready to film the next world conflict. But, I talked about Dave Chappelle's show. He has this show on Netflix, and there's a part in it where he talks about transgenderism. Here's a little bit of that.
Gender is a fact. This is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on Earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on Earth. That is a fact. Now, I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those that they got, you know what I mean?
He doesn't even have to finish the sentence, right? He's talking about the vagina of a trans woman. He doesn't even have to finish the sentence because we all get it. This is not real womanhood. This is not what womanhood is. And we are so thrilled. The Netflix CEO came out and he said, we're not going to cancel this. They're threatening walkouts. The New York Times is attacking them. Everybody's attacking the show. It's called The Closer, but they're not going to take it off. And we're so thrilled. We're so thrilled. The guy is saying something that everybody knows is true, that 4-year-old people know that boys are one way and girls are another, and boys have one thing and girls have another, and you can't change. That's who you are. And just notice what he said there, because this is the part where I'm supposed to say nothing against trans people. That's the thing I'm supposed to say next. And he said, I'm not saying trans women are not women, but, and then he doesn't even have to finish the sentence because everybody knows. So this is how bad things are, that we on the right are cheering because somebody can say that girls are girls and boys are boys. I mean, what a victory. What a victory. Soon we may be able to say the sky is blue or that Dr. Fauci is a liar. I mean, who knows what wonderful heights of truth-telling we have to say. But we're always going to have to say before that, we're always going to make an excuse. I'm not saying this. I don't, I feel it's not that I hate black people, but it's not that I hate transgender people, but it's not that I hate gay people, but we're going to have to keep saying this. Wokeism is a small-minded, racist, wicked, graceless, mean-spirited, ugly point of view. So why are we the ones apologizing? That's how bad it is. That's how far we've lost the culture. But why? Why do they keep winning? Why do they always win the culture? And why are we always playing defense? I'm sure you heard like this John Gruden thing. John Gruden got thrown off off his job as the coach of the Oakland Raiders. I just wanted you to know exactly what happened, though, because what happened was the NFL was investigating charges against the Washington Redskins. We're not allowed to call them that anymore, but that's what they are. There were charges of sexual harassment. So they're going through emails in the NFL, right? They're going through all these emails looking for charges of sexual harassment, but instead they find a private email that John Gruden, who everybody knows is a big mouth and always says, talks off the top of his head. That's what makes him so entertaining. They found him in the middle of a labor dispute. He was talking about DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association, and this is a private email that he sent, and he called him DeMaurice Smith, and he said he had lips, he's black guy, he said lips the size of a Michelin tire, made some remarks about gay people and all this, and it's so terrible that on the NFL talk shows, they're actually bursting into tears. Here's cut 7.
For us to be moving back and not forward in 21st century, like I said, man, National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man. I'm sorry.
No.
I can play for you, but I'd rather not. Okay? I'd rather not do it, but if I have to do it, I will. And it's just because I have other people that I have to provide for.
Yeah.
Right? But I'd rather not do it.
Now, they're crying, the guy's crying about John Gruden in private emails 10 years ago, sending this, saying some nasty stuff about this guy's lips. All right. This has changed nothing. This change means nothing. It hasn't changed the NFL, hasn't changed the way John Gruden treats his players. It doesn't change the way the NFL is treating its players. Changes nothing. It's meaningless. It means something. But you might stop and think, wait a minute. You were looking for evidence of sexual harassment because you're being fined for sexual harassment. You went through 10 years of NFL emails. Where's the rest of it? Here's the announcement from the NFL. Based on the material that we have reviewed, we haven't identified anything that needed to be reported to club or league leadership. We have released no emails during this process. It's a ruse. Generally speaking, every charge of racism is covering up some kind of bad action by the left, some kind of seizing of power. George Floyd, the whole thing about the police killing black people, which almost never happens, killing innocent black people, just going out and shooting. Remember, they're talking about the streets are littered with the dead black people, the police. All a ruse. It's a ruse because the federal government, the left wants the federal government to take over criminal policing in localities. They don't want localities and states to have the rights to criminally police, so they harass the police and they come in and they oversee them. They use these incidents to oversee them. It's a ruse because crime goes up in leftist cities, in places where the left's policies take hold. And so instead, it's George Floyd has been killed, this guy was killed. It's always a ruse. Generally speaking, any talk about racism, because this is the least racist country on earth, because it is the least racist country on earth, any talk about racism is a ruse. So wokeism is hypocrisy, it's a ruse, it's corrupt. And it's not that just that, it's mean, it's vicious, it's authoritarian. Why are we the ones apologizing? You know, they're coming out with CRT. They're saying we should be teaching CRT. You shouldn't be able to, this is a critical race theory. You shouldn't be able, they're literally investigating, threatening to investigate parents who protest against this. You know, the UN, the United Nations, the left loves the UN. They have a Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In that Declaration of Human Rights, I'm getting this from Gerard Baker in the Wall Street Journal, parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. So wokeism is authoritarian, it's bullying, it's mean. Why are we apologizing? Here's the reason. I will tell you the reason. Why do we always have to say, oh, I'm for this, but I don't mean anything about gay people, I don't mean anything about black people? It's because they have a creative moral vision and we don't. Their moral vision is wicked. It's not moral, but it's a moral vision. And we don't have one at all. We talk about the fact that our ideas work. Capitalism works. It makes everybody richer. Freedom works because the more people have freedom, the more ideas can flow and more good ideas rise to the top. Free speech works. We forget to mention that this is right. This is the moral way for us to treat one another. I try to, even with religion, listen to the way the right wing talks about religion. We say, well, religion is good because it makes people moral and therefore the government doesn't have to come and govern them because they govern themselves. It works. We never talk about the fact that it's true. We never talk about the fact that it is the most meaningful moral way to live your life, not because it stops you from doing X, Y, or Z, because it shows you the world as it really is, as God made it. I think the left talks about Jesus more. They say, well, Jesus, of course, was a transgender Palestinian, but he did say love your neighbor, and therefore we're taking all your money away and we're going to distribute it as an act of love. Where we did, our Jesus is like, don't be gay. That's our Jesus. When was the last time, seriously, you heard a creative and modern, but also scripturally true take on Christianity that helped your life and you weren't listening to this particular show? When was the last time that happened? Without vision, the people perish. The left has a vision. It's a wicked vision. It's a mean-spirited vision. It's corrupt. It's authoritarian, but it is creative. They're constantly coming up with fresh ideas. And without a creative moral vision, and I emphasize moral, you cannot build a culture, which is what we now have to do. That is what we have embarked upon. That is what we have to do. If you like the content you're getting here, please subscribe and like it, and that way we can get you more great content like this.